Welcome, Utah wrestling fans. We're back. It's been a while, but we're back this summer. Got myself, got Cole Kelly with us today, and then also Nate O'Brien will be joining us here shortly, we do believe. Today, we just want to kind of touch on our summer wrestling. Got a lot going on this summer, and then also we want to get into the high school season. What we can start looking forward to from there. So, to start with this summer, a lot going on, a lot of national team stuff, a lot of regional competition. This weekend, we have the Turf War duels up in Pocatello at the Holt Arena, as well as the Western States Championships. Cool singlets are given out, a lot of cool stuff for the awards this year. It'll be a fun little tournament. We also just got back from the schoolboy duels. Schoolboy duels are kids that are typically 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, depending on when you're born. Anyways, they did well. They in Greco they placed 12th, lost a couple tough ones. You know, the difference between top 8 and 12 was super slim. You know, one or two guys win their matches. It changes everything. Freestyle, they didn't do as well. To be honest, I don't even know exactly what place they came. They lost one duel to Wisconsin, which was like a 2-point match, and then they lost another one to Missouri, another one that came down to the wire. So two, they lost some tough ones, and they came back through and won some more. So, anyways, schoolboy team did great. You know, it's always fun to take that team back. I didn't get to go back this year, but super fun. Anyways, you know, it's typical of our teams to do better in Greco than freestyle, but sometimes it goes the other way. Cole, what are your thoughts? You know, why is Utah do better in Greco than freestyle?
You know, I think the way that we have our season set up, there are a lot of states out there that don't wrestle Greco. There's the actual competition that they experience is pretty minimal. And so you got some of these teams that you're competing against who the kids don't have a lot of Greco experience. In Utah, we take Greco seriously. I know, you know, Jed Jones started the trend way back, you know, with Brady and Cam, and Utah really started to make an impact in the Greco world. In fact, there was one year they did a Utah versus USA, where Utah kids competed against the best Greco kids from around the country. So Utah does well in Greco. You know, Jeff, I'm going to throw a question back at you. I'm curious to hear your answer. Is it good for Utah wrestling or not?
I think it's good for Utah wrestling. I mean, like you said, a lot of states don't wrestle Greco like we do. You know, I really think that if we were to put a little bit more focus on Greco, I mean, we're competing for a national title at the schoolboy, at least at the schoolboy level for now. You know, we're that close to right now placing top 8 with doing what we're doing, and a lot of these kids, you know, I wouldn't say a lot, but you know, in Utah, a chunk of your kids don't wrestle Greco until either state or you know, schoolboy duels. And if we can kind of change that trend, you know, I think very easily we can be competing for a national title at the schoolboy level year in and year out. Because, you know, at the schoolboy level, you go to these tournaments, and a lot of these kids have never wrestled Greco, and they're just good. You know, they're really good at freestyle, really good at folk style, but they haven't wrestled Greco, and they're just, you know, a week or two into Greco. And because they're great wrestlers, they know positioning and they can do well. But you know, if we were to focus a little bit more on Greco, maybe that's the route, you know, to get to that level. And like I said, I don't think it takes much. But if our kids have wrestled it a few times, feel comfortable, I think that gives them such an advantage going into like the schoolboy duels, kids nationals, and Greco, and same thing with Fargo. Anyways, I think so, and I think it's great for Utah. You know, it's a way to put us on the map quickly, and we've had, you know, world class wrestlers in Greco. I mean, Justin Reese, Cheney Haight, are some that recently that have done it. And, you know, you got Taylor Lamont now that's coming up, and we've had some super good success in Greco. So why not continue that trend and start working on it a little bit more?
You know, I often wonder, you know, is Utah's success in Greco to the detriment of our success in other styles? And I've debated with that question in my mind quite a bit. I've come to the conclusion, I don't know if it's concluded, but where I'm at right now is that I think Greco helps you develop in other styles, and I think I'm a big fan of sport specialization too early. Sport specialization, I think, can hurt some kids. And Greco's enough of a change that you're almost competing in a different sport. You know, it's still wrestling, it's still grueling, it's still hard nose, but it's different. You know, and I think it's a good change. Folk style is by far still my favorite style, and I know there are people out there that would argue with me. Folk style is my favorite style. I watched. You know, the X matches over the weekend, and I'm just, Kyle Snyder makes me think that freestyle could be amazing, but then I watch some of those other matches and I just think, gosh, I don't remember seeing a boring match in the 10 matches of the NCAAs, but I sure saw some boring matches in the Final X.
But I think for me, you know, I love freestyle and Greco. The thing that's frustrating on those two styles is the officiating. You know, it's so, there's so many subjective things. Right. You know, it's just like, you know, take Jason Chamberlain, Utah guy, wrestling James Green, and Jason's the one getting put on the clock time after time after time. You know, and that's really, it's the official's decision. I mean, they can make that call. Yeah. They could very easily have put James Green on the clock. James Green scored 4 points that in the two matches, and 3 of the 4 were shot clock. Right. And so it's frustrating that sometimes the refs are able to make that call. And I get it. Like, there needs to be scoring. Someone needs to win. I get it. You know, and the other side of it is saying, we'll get a takedown, you know, score points or whatever, and then you don't have to worry about it. And I get that side of it too, but it's sometimes the officiating is frustrating at the freestyle and Greco level, and even at the international level is what you're saying. Yes, definitely, and even, you know, especially, I mean, one time I was at Schoolboy Duels, and we head throw this kid, and they give the other kid points, and then we go up and argue like we're the ones that threw him. Like, how is he scoring all these points? And they're like, no, they threw you guys. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like, what match are you watching? And, you know, and I've seen these discussions on Twitter, on Facebook, you know, of, you know, our officials, you know, they're volunteer, et cetera, et cetera. And I completely understand that, which is, you know, another subject in and of itself of, you know, if you want good officials, you're going to have to start paying them. And the problem is you can't pay 3-man mechanics and not lose thousands and thousands of dollars at your tournament. So it's like, do you stick with 3-man mechanics and continue doing volunteer officials and continue getting the quality that we have, or you got 3 referees for 2 wrestlers, right? And so, or do you go down to 1 man per mat and you pay them well, and then now you can start, you know, requiring them to do better and et cetera, and get better and better and better. And that's why folk style has good officials, is because they get paid, and they're doing it because they're getting paid. And, you know, the better they are, the more they get paid. Whereas in freestyle and Greco, it's unrealistic to pay 3 officials per mat. And really it's more like 5 officials per mat, because you have to have rotations and stuff like that. So really, I mean, 5, you know, or whatever you want to call it, 3-man mechanics, you can't, it's unrealistic to pay that many officials. And when you're getting volunteers, you're going to get volunteer work. And that's why the quality sometimes struggles. I mean, I don't know, did you see the video on Flow where it was captioned like worst pin ever or something? Did you see that? No, I didn't. It was this match, and the kid hits a double leg and drives him over right to his back, and the kid that was getting double leg grabbed him and threw him, and they called the kid that hit the double leg got pinned, they said. And the coach went over there and was like, we were never on our back. We hit the double leg and drove the kid onto his back and held him there and then rolled through. And you're saying we got pinned. And anyways, I guess they gave the match to the other kid. The kid that really was pinned won the match, and then they protested it and got overturned or something. But it's tough. I mean, and there are good.
At what level was that?
That was I think it was at the UWW Cadet Nationals, I think in Akron.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it was a high level, and it may have been U23. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a higher level match. It was a consolation semis match. And there are good freestyle and Greco officials out there. I'm definitely not saying there are. I believe at our freestyle and Greco state tournament, we're actually getting really good officials at our tournament for the most part, and we're getting better. You know, obviously there are some that struggle, right? But
foot in mouth. But there was only one that I struggled with, and he happened to be on my son's mat.
Right. Put him there on purpose for you.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, that's freestyle and Greco. I think Greco's great for Utah. I think, you know, in my opinion, I think we should start pushing it a little more. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a ton more. A little, you know, and me and you were talking before the podcast, but, you know, if a kid goes out there and wrestles in 10 practices, 10 Greco practices, 3 to 5 tournaments, he's going to be light years ahead of other kids. I mean, he's going to do so much better, and it doesn't take a lot in Greco. It just little things, and our state, I think, will see a lot more success. But
hey, Jeff, I had an idea. Okay, I'm going to throw this out there for all of the Utah fans that are tuning in. I've always thought about, okay, in Greco, one of the things that's hard with Greco is high amplitude throws. You end up, how do you do it as often as required to do it and get better at it without hurting each other? And you got to know how to throw, and you got to learn know how to fall, but you have to also practice to be able to get there, right? And I'm sitting in the swimming pool the other day, and I'm watching Zeke and Teague wrestle around with each other, and they're throwing each other, and I'm like, oh, we ought to bring kids to the swimming pool and let them throw each other. It might be a fun practice, right?
Yeah, why not? Mix it up.
Yeah. So,
Nate,
I mean, 4 feet deep. Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be, you know, about, I would say about waist high or just below your waist.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Nate, welcome to the call, by the way.
Hi, sorry, guys.
We're just talking about Greco and, you know, how Utah typically does better in Greco than freestyle a lot of times. And then we started getting into the official situation and stuff like that. But
Jeff, let me divert you to something. To tell us who did well on the schoolboy and the cadet teams. Who are some kids that went undefeated or maybe lost a match or two that represented well for our teams.
Right now, so cadets start tomorrow.
Okay.
On the schoolboy level, and I hope I'm getting this right, but you have Jordan Davies went undefeated in Greco, All-American there. And then I want to say Kyson Garcia went undefeated in Greco. You know, but I know Andrew Jensen did well. Lane Kleiman did well. I know I'm going to miss some people.
Is Lane a schoolboy?
Yeah, he's a schoolboy.
Nice.
First year.
Nice.
So
I should know that.
Yeah. So I mean, we had shoot, I know I'm missing a whole bunch of people that did well, but
I put you on the spot. I apologize.
I wasn't prepared for that one.
No, that's all right. I mean, I've pulled it up on the internet here too, and maybe we can go check that out. But
Stockton was shocked that Lane. I think Stockton was following it. He was kind of updating me, and he was surprised that Lane Kleiman lost a match in Greco, I believe, and he was just like, "Holy cow! I never thought."
That was a tough kid, though. I mean, the kid he lost to, the Missouri kid, tough kid, big kid too.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, but cadet starts it tomorrow. They weighed in today. They start tomorrow.
Who's out there with them?
You got
Jay?
Jay Rouser and Andrew Hochstrasser out there right now with them.
Yeah.
So,
Right on.
Nate, you want to talk about junior team real quick? I'm just going to check on this one thing real quick.
Yeah, what do you want to know about the junior team?
When are they going out there? Who's on it?
We leave Tuesday morning next week. And I think they weigh in that night and then wrestle Wednesday, Thursday's free or Greco, and Friday, Saturday will be freestyle.
How do you like the team, Nate?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah, of course we do.
I'm disappointed in some, not to take any knocks on anybody on the team because hey, I think there's some great kids. We struggle on getting our best kids to junior duels, and it's frustrating. I really thought we could have had a really chance for a really, really good team. You know, I mean, you got Terrell and Brisky, and those are the guys who ended up not going. And if you throw a Cole Moody or Brandon Van Tassel or or someone like that else on the team, I mean, now you're in contention for top 5 or 6 spot. But so that's kind of where it's frustrating is, as the kids get older, they have other things that come up, other camps they want to go to, or senior trip.
Jeff and I were talking earlier, Nate, and this actually may be the point behind why, but that's where the size of our state is.
Yeah,
we don't have the depth.
Correct.
And so you go past our 1 and 2. And you don't have the depth of a Pennsylvania or a California or a Illinois, where what's the population of those 3 states that I mentioned? All,
right.
3 times the size of Utah, right?
Yeah, correct.
And so you triple the size, and now our 1 and 2 goes down 5 and 6. So,
well, I think even 2 years ago when I think Brock went out as a second-year cadet, and they were trying to get a really good team, and at the last minute, like Jackson Cole ended up not being able to go, and there was just a whole bunch of kids dropped out of the last minute. And I think as the year we took 2 teams, and so we still had plenty of kids, but we're filling spots where we have top-level kids and putting pretty good kids in there, but at that level, it's kind of hard to compete at the highest level.
Right.
So I guess that's the frustrating part. But we do have some solid kids. I mean, we're going to be really solid through our middle weights there.
Sorry, I accidentally put out the wrong link, so I had to redo it.
Oh, so we've had nobody watching, is what you said? You mean?
So I had to put up the new link.
All right.
Give me a second here. It's almost done.
Wait, do we have to start all over?
No, it just had to put out a new link so they can find it.
All right. We've had an amazing discussion on Greco that everybody needs to go back and watch then, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me make sure here.
Thought your guys were going to ask me about Final X.
Let's hear it, Nate.
Yeah, you went out to Final X. Tell us about
it. Yeah, so it was fun. We did
Did you go out there?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
So Christopher Hardy and his gang, it was kind of Brock's last hurrah before he leaves to the MTC, and I think it's like a week and a half now. Okay. Anyhow, they took a big van out, and then I took and then we drove out with Stockton and Oakley, because Stockton and Oakley are doing Nebraska camp. And so we drove out and got there Friday afternoon and kind of hung out. And Saturday we went around kind of Omaha, and Brock went through the temple out there, and it was pretty cool. And then we came back and watched the Final X, and so it was pretty cool being there. It was a really cool atmosphere. Nebraska has an awesome arena it's smaller, but it's where they hold their gymnastics and their wrestling tournaments. And so it's they have box seats and the whole 9 yards in it. It's a really nice facility, but then they had that elevated stage there and the lights, and the background was all black, and it was cool. I was disappointed that none of them went to the best of 3, but it was fun watching, Jason out there competing, and, we were all yelling, cheering for him. And
tell us your thoughts on Jason's matches.
I thought.
I think Jeff and I talked a little bit about this before you came on.
It looked like he had a pretty good game plan, like in his mind, what he wanted to do. I know he was trying to dig for that left-handed underhook, because that's kind of his go-to, and you could tell that James didn't want anything to do with it, and he just kept kind of fishing out of it and trying to. And but for being in James Green's hometown, when he put Jason on the shot clock for the second time, even the Nebraska fans were booing, that they thought that was garbage. We had the fortunate blessing of having 2 drunk Wisconsin fans behind us, and they were hilarious, but they were yelling at the refs, and they wanted Jason to win that match. And so it was kind of fun. We had quite a bit of group around us cheering for Jason. And but I think on that second match, I wish that second period, when he should have just changed. I mean, at that point, what he got to lose, just start throwing everything you got. But he kind of waited for the last 30 seconds.
That's probably one of the disadvantages of being a training partner for so long, right? I mean, for those of you that don't know, Jason Chamberlain was out in Nebraska, and that's where he was doing a lot of senior level training for a long time. So he was James Green's partner for a few years, and so they know each other well. And so when Nate says that Jason was trying to dig for that left-handed underhook, obviously James Green knows
knew it was coming, and you could see his coaches yelling at him to get out of it.
Right. And that's what's unfortunate. It's like, and that's the shot clock thing. It's wrestle the match, but yeah, it was frustrating.
Well, I thought they should have put James on the shot clock the second time.
Right.
So then at least you're 1-1, but to have it to lose a match 2-0 and both of them were shot clocks is, in my opinion, is about as. That's why people hate wrestling, is because that's the stupidest thing I've ever, The
referee just decided that match rather than wrestlers.
Yeah. And then Jason had a great shot right there at the end with about 4 or 5 seconds left. It just, it takes that shot 3 seconds earlier, he might have finished it and won that first match. But honestly, that was the boringest match to watch those two wrestle, just because they, like you said, Cole, they knew each other so well. But Burrow's last match, that one was awesome.
Kyle Snyder's matches were, that guy's awesome.
When he got blast doubled off the stage to start the match, dude, that was awesome. That whole thing, that whole stage was shaking, man. Two big boys going off like that. And maybe you couldn't tell from the TV, but the guy who was wrestling, he kind of went off, but he was actually trying to catch him. He kind of reached to like grab him, like, oh crap, he's going off the stage. And he kind of, which I thought was really good sportsmanship, like he was trying to help break his fall, So, but it was fun.
Who do you guys got this weekend on Saturday? Dave Valencia. Do you think Valencia has any chance?
I think he has a really good chance.
Do you?
But again, the referees, honestly, of all the favorites, they got passivity maybe one time. I think Burroughs actually got a passivity call one time. Other than that, every favorite out there the other person wrestling him had the passivity call first, regardless if they deserved it or not.
That's how it's gonna be, though. I mean,
yeah, and I almost wonder if that's like it's not like directly told, but it's like implied. You know, this guy is the champion, and in order to, it's like in boxing, right? You have to be the clear winner in boxing to win.
Yes.
To win. And so if you're going to beat the champ, you got to come out and you can't let the refs.
Well, you got to score points. You got to score points. You got to beat them. And that's how I think it's going to be called the same way. I mean, you got with David Taylor and who's he wrestling? Nick Renan.
It makes it feel a little bit like we're in Russia, but anyways, you know.
Yeah, honestly, it felt a little bit that way. Like, you know, I knew Burroughs was going to win, but it was funny because I called it every time after watching Jason's. I was like, "There's every favorite is going to get the passivity in their favor."
That's the call, yeah.
It worked out, but one time, and so I was like, "Wow, you really have to." I thought they called him way too often, though, too quick into the match. Especially that Fix match. They gave that Fix match away. Fix was up 3-2, and then they call him for passivity. Why would you call him for passivity? He'd been shooting. That was probably one of the more active matches. I didn't understand why you would call just because they hadn't scored in 30 seconds. Now we got to call passivity. Right. I didn't understand that.
Well, me and Cole had a huge debate over freestyle and Greco officials. You missed it, Nate.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, so we got cadets starting tomorrow, Greco tomorrow, 2 days of Greco, 2 days of freestyle. Juniors starting next week on, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Turf War duels this weekend up in Pocatello. Those should be fun. Western States, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Pocatello. And then we got Fargo coming up as well. So, and then after Fargo's mid-July, and then we're done and we start all over again. Anyways, let's shift gears a little bit. We've hit freestyle and Greco for a while now, so let's shift gears. High school wrestling season. It's still a ways away, but it's never too early to start discussing.
Never.
What, Cole?
Never too early.
Never too early. Anyways, let's start with coaching changes. We've had a little bit of change going on. New school in Farmington, which is gonna hurt Viewmont. It's going to take some kids away from Viewmont. And Viewmont had a really good team last year. But Gentry Gosser is the new coach at Farmington. He was a coach at Hillcrest. Josh, I think they have a new coach at Hillcrest. But I probably should confirm that before I say it on air. But I think Hillcrest has a new coach. Bonneville's coach, Jed Craner, he left Bonneville, he's at Box Elder now, took over for Rip. I don't know who the new coach at Bonneville is. Harriman has a new head coach and Olympic gold medalist, Rulon Gardner. Any other coaching changes you guys can think of?
No, those were the ones that were in my mind.
The major ones.
So,
I mean, yeah, it seems like every year now Utah's getting new high schools. Next year, I think Eagle Mountain will be getting a new program, a new school. Trying to think any other. I know there's some other coaching changes this year, and I can't think of them though. So, anyways, that's what we got for now. Coaching changes.
You mentioned some openings. I mean, Bonneville's now open, right? So Bonneville is going to have an opening.
Yeah. I think West Jordan actually got a new coach. Elder was their coach, and I do believe he's gone now. And someone's took over that program. I can't remember who it was, but someone else did. Cole, you know Rulon.
I do.
Some thoughts.
You know, I did camps with Rulon for a number of years. You know, the thing that I'll say about Rulon and a lot of people were resistant to learning technique from Rulon because he's a heavyweight, and people think of heavyweight wrestling. And you know, if you haven't been able to tell by a guy like Kyle Snyder, at the international level, heavyweight wrestling is not like high school heavyweight wrestling. All right. And I'm not trying to disrespect high school heavyweight wrestlers, but it generally tends to be more of a pushing match and not a lot of scoring in those matches. But you know, when we would go to these camps, Rulon, he knows the sport, and he knows the technique, and he knows how to teach. And so I think, you know, I think that'll be good for Harriman. I think
well, they have a good team.
Yeah.
They have a good program, youth program with Pat Garcia, and so it should be good.
And I know they're all trying to work together. I mean, I know there's been some turmoil there. There's been some hard feelings and some other issues. We're not going to air on you know, dirty laundry on a podcast, but I think the effort is being made to kind of heal wounds and mend relationships and bring people together. Rulon hasn't been a part of any of those internal fighting, and so, you know, I think his attitude is, let's work together. Let's see what we can do to build together. So
anyway, those are our coaching changes. Like I said, you know, the new school in Farmington will be interesting to see what happens with Viewmont, because I know they're pulling some kids away, and Viewmont had a good nucleus of young guys.
Well, Jeff, I heard that we actually talked a little bit about Viewmont, that basically if you lived in Farmington's boundary, if you were a junior going into your senior year, they made you go to the Farmington. You didn't have a choice. So
that's what I've been told. And even with the Eagle Mountain School coming in next year, yeah, with the Eagle Mountain School coming in here, you know, I've been told the same thing, that, you know, they're going to have to go over there. It's not going to be a choice, but we'll see.
Yeah. Other than, I think they give the choice from the juniors going into their senior year. They will give a choice.
Yeah. So anyway, those are coaching changes.
If somebody, you know, just get a lawyer.
It's true. I mean, there's always ways around it. There's definitely ways around it. We all know that, but
yeah.
Okay, so, you know, with the season coming up, we will wait until after Fargo to put out our Beehive Top 25 preseason. But as soon as Fargo is over, we will put that out, because we do use Fargo, you know, in those preseason rankings. I know some people think that freestyle should be kept out of it, Greco should be kept out of it, but, you know, if a kid wrestles all summer, does well at Fargo, you know, it's going to reflect in the preseason rankings. We got the top 20 or top 10 incoming freshmen. Also, another one probably be put out right after Fargo. Again, we give those kids one last chance to prove themselves. But let's talk about those two lists a little bit. Cole or Nate. Let's start with incoming freshmen. Who are some of the top incoming freshmen you guys see?
Oh man,
I know, Nate, you probably haven't been around it as much because you've been more in the high school.
Well, you got Drew Lang.
Got Lang.
Yeah.
And I watched him out at Akron, and he wrestled really tough out there. He impressed me a lot.
Yeah.
Is Robertson? What grade is he? What grade is he?
A freshman.
He was a freshman.
Yeah. So
last year.
I mean, you got Drew Lang going to West High School.
Okay.
You know, you got Dylan Dick out at Uinta.
That's right.
Yep.
Super tough. He'll be coming in.
He beat Sammy Haywood a couple times, I believe.
Right. Well, he wrestled Sammy. I know Sammy's been hurt.
Yeah, but still.
You know, but, you know, he beat him at Freestyle State, right? Wasn't it Freestyle State?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he looked really good. So you got Dylan. He'll be coming in, you know, middleweight, so it'll be interesting. But, you know, he's wrestled Sammy really, really well. So you got Will Korth coming in. You know, the question mark with Will is how big, you know, will he get up to weight or not?
Right.
I know he's getting up there pretty close, but he's still probably got to put on another 10 pounds or so.
Channing Warner.
You got Channing Warner. Again, another one that will come in middleweight.
126, somewhere right there would be
right. Gabe Sanders, another one, tough one, and Bridger Ricks will be coming in probably around 106 as well. So I mean, you got Andrew Jensen. Again, he's going to be coming in those middle to upper weights, which is tough. 52, 60. I don't know where he'll be.
Andrew, Maple Mountain.
I don't know where he's going to high school. What high school he'll go to? I don't know. Good question. If anybody knows is listening, shoot me a text. Other than that, you got Lucas Carrillo. Again, not sure where he's going either. Do you guys know where he's going?
No, that's a good question. I know. I mean,
I thought they were going over with Tucker.
ALA?
ALA is what I was thinking. I mean, if they're not at Maple Mountain, they might be at ALA with Tucker. Tucker's doing a good job of building those relationships and bringing guys over to American Leadership Academy. So,
yep. And you got some other ones. Jordan Davies just went undefeated in Greco, the national duels. Dawson Wood, Blake Woolsey, Josh Millward is coming in as well.
Davies Mountain Crest, right?
Who?
Davies.
Jordan. He's Syracuse.
Okay.
And then you have, Josh Millward will come in at, I think, Sky Ridge, and he'll be another tough one of those, 106, 113 range. It's a good freshman class. I mean,
that is a good freshman
class. You have some good ones in there.
That's a pretty deep freshman class.
Yep. So, and to be honest, I haven't even given it thought on who's going to be number one. I haven't even started working on these rankings, but those would be kind of some of the top ones. And I think it's going to be a solid 1 through 10. Not many holes in that one. So, okay, let's move on to the big board, Beehive Top 25. Nate, you might know a little bit more about this. Cole as well. Who's your number one, or do you have a number one?
I think to me, I mean, you could say Kohler has a shot, but he hasn't performed awesome on the national scene. We'll see how he does in Fargo. Fargo's kind of waiting for me to see who's number one between Kohler, Wilcox, and Bearclough.
I would agree. I think
those are kind of my three.
Yeah, those would be my top three as well right now. Bearclough, Kohler, and Wilcox. But Fargo could be the deciding factor between those three. Now, here's a question: Wasatch Insider, Zach, what I've been working on team previews. My goal is starting in August to start putting them out, every other day and try and get as many high schools in as I possibly can. So I've started early. Anyways, I was working on Wasatch's team preview here. Where's Zach Kohler going to go? Because is he going to end up at 52? Because I see you guys. There's going to be a log jam.
We are log jam. We are log jam about 120 to about 145. I don't know what. Honestly, that's
because I was thinking, you move. I don't know how big Haywood's getting, but
elephant in the room, guys, and I think some people may or may not know, but River Wardle will be at Wasatch next year,
right?
And so he's
right across the street from the high school.
Yeah, so he's moved from Harriman to Wasatch, and that doesn't. I mean, that's a pretty full room right there in the middle, isn't it?
So Nate, this is what I have. Depending on how big Sammy's getting, because I'm assuming Stockton's not going to be a 45-pounder. But you have, if Zach moves up to 52 and Sammy grows and slides into 45, Stockton at 38, then you have someone like Declan Kelly at 32 or Trayson Davis, River at 26, Mitchell Slack at 20, Blotter at 13, and I'm sure there's a couple others in there as well missing. Is that a possibility, or is there going to be a hole at 52, or do you have someone? I don't even know who you guys would have at 52 if Kohler doesn't go there.
I think they're hoping that Sammy can get up to 52.
Oh, really? Well, if he got up there, I mean, you look at it. I mean, at 20, state champ, 26, state champ, 32. Depending on if Hayward's there or who's there, could be a state champ or third place at state. 38, state champ, 45, state champ, and then Sammy bumps up to 52, state champ. I mean, you could have, add those 6 weights, 5 of them are state champs, and then you add in there Charlie Fossold as a freshman. He's
Correct.
tough.
Yeah.
But I just don't see anybody beating Wasatch next year. At least, the varsity. I haven't looked depth wise or anything like that, but
we're light on the upper weights. We're trying to get Porter Chamberlain up to 82.
Well, I figure you have.
Then we've got Brock. We've got Brock
Lloyd
in there. He's probably, my guess is he's going to be around 160.
What about Logan Kennard?
Logan Kennard will probably be 170, 182 right there too. So,
and then Fossil will probably be your 95 or 220
right there. Yeah, he'll probably be 82 to 95.
And your heavyweight will be Swainston.
Yeah, Swank. Yeah.
So
Swank.
Yeah, you're light on the upper weights, but you're still. You might be missing a 220. Fossil will fill in fine at 95, I think, as a freshman if he had to.
Well, at six we have O'Connor.
Tristan.
Yeah, Tristan O'Connor.
Is he going to be a freshman next year?
Yeah, he's a freshman next year.
You'll be solid there. With Chamberlain in there, he'll be competing for a state title, if not a front runner.
Right.
Kennard's a state qualifier. Swainston's a state. I don't know anybody that's going to touch you guys. I could be wrong, and I haven't done all the previews. I just don't see it. 6A. There's not a world-beating team. There's some good teams, I think. PG is going to be solid. Lane will be solid again. Harriman's not bad, but nothing like where you guys are going to have a lineup with 5 returning state champs. A state runner-up, a third place. I don't think there's a team in the.
Well, even if you go from even if you count Blotter at 13, he was a runner-up last year. So
right,
you go from 13
runner-ups
to potentially 170, and I think everybody plays 4th or higher.
Right, because you had Declan Kelly 3rd, even Trayson Davis 5th, Brock Lloyd 5th, and then you have 2 runner-ups. 5 state champs. That's a tough team. So, I think Wasatch is definitely the front runners.
It's a nice problem to have when you're trying to put weight on guys.
Yeah. So, going back to the Beehive top 25, anyways. Wilcox, Kohler, Bear Clough, I think got to be your top 3. Fargo maybe separates them. And all of them have arguments, I think, to be possible number 1s.
Then you can throw in Foy and probably Stockton right there.
You got Ayotte as well.
You got Ayotte.
Let's see, anybody else we're missing? Yeah, so I would say out of Bear Clough, Kohler, and Wilcox has had the most success on a national level. You think that's right, or?
Well, he took 2nd at Folk Style Nationals. He All-Americaned in freestyle last year at Fargo as a first-year junior. I don't think Terrell's ever placed in Fargo, but he did take. He did All-American this year out at Folk Style.
Yeah, he did. So I would say Wilcox had the most success on a national level, but Fargo could be the determining factor.
Yeah.
So, what other running teams? What do you think, Cole? Your boy goes to PG. What's PG looking like? I have their lineup right here, but what are your thoughts? Have you looked at it much?
Yeah, no, PG's got a good lineup. They're solid all the way through. The thing that you and I have talked about, Jeff, is one thing we were kind of discussing a little bit before the podcast how one of the struggles that Utah has is filling good, solid kids at the upper weights, you know. And the one thing that PG always does well is they fill those upper weights with good kids.
They always have.
Yeah, and
But
so
Cole, you can only score 2 guys at heavyweight. I mean, how many heavyweights? I mean, they have a lot of heavyweights. Is that going to be an issue?
no, but if you're scoring 2 guys at 220 and scoring 2 guys at heavyweight, 2 guys at 195, I mean, because a lot of teams struggle to score 1 guy in those 3 weights, you know. And so, but yes, to answer that question, Jeff, they are. I mean, you've got Micah Totiali, you've got Spencer Totiali, you've got Keegan Wilkinson, and it's like I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Spencer last year when he was trying to cut down to 195, but man, he did not look like Spencer. It's like, go eat a burger, dude.
Right. Well, you look at PG right now, and maybe you'll know this. I don't know the answer to this. You got Keegan Wilkinson. He's at heavyweight.
Yeah.
You have Daw, and I don't know where's Daw gonna. Is he gonna be heavyweight 220, 95? I don't know. I know his brother was, a good size heavyweight, but I don't know where he's at.
I actually texted a handful of coaches, and let me see where he's got Daw.
Well, and then you got both, like you said, both Tautiolis. I mean,
yeah.
Is Spencer? I mean, he was a big boy. Is he going to be at 220 or heavyweight?
I think he's a heavyweight. I think Spencer goes heavyweight this next.
Well, and again with Micah's huge, like rip big. Like, is he going to be a 220 or is he going to continue getting bigger for football?
Well,
220.
I think he'll be a 220. I just the frame. The frame of Spencer has always been bigger than the frame of Micah, and Micah is ripped. I mean, he's a good looking 220 pounder, but yeah, I don't see him being a heavyweight. And I think that I think they'll go though. I think Spencer will go heavyweight this year though,
and then maybe Daw at 220.
I don't know if he can get down there.
Because that's the thing. I mean, PG has some great heavyweights, and you have the younger Wilkinson coming up as well. But
yeah.
The problem, are they going to end up with 4 heavyweights that could possibly all be state champs, but only 2 of them can actually get in and score points? I mean, or are they going to be able to get some down to 220? And
I can tell you, in Zeke's class, the kids that are freshmen that are going to be sophomores, there's literally 5 heavyweights.
Right. Right.
Hogging all the heavyweights or what?
Yeah.
Spread out.
So I mean, maybe some teams can borrow them. You know.
So I mean, PG, but they'll be solid. I mean, they have a good nucleus of kids. They'll be tough again. Layton will be good as well. Syracuse is an up and coming team, and American Fork actually they have a solid team as well.
Yeah.
So
PG will be senior heavy this year though.
Well, they'll have. Let's see. You'll have
Jackson Moore as a senior.
Jackson Moore. You'll have Cole Zorn, a senior.
Keegan Wilkinson will be a senior.
Well, yeah, but heavyweight again. We've talked. It's not going to make a difference.
True.
But Mike as well. That will hurt at 220.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, they're Dotson's a senior.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, anyways, they have some good ones. 4A. I think Uinta's your team next year in 4A, and they return pretty much everybody except for, let me look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They bring back everybody except for 5 state, people that went to state. I think they'll be your front runners in my opinion. Just quickly looking at it.
Stensgaard's still the head coach there.
No.
When we were talking coaching changes, I'd wondered that, and I don't know. Is that something official, Nate?
I thought it was official that he's not anymore.
I heard that too. I haven't heard.
In fact, I actually congratulated Shoot, I'm drawing a blank. The assistant coach up there, the Iowa guy. You guys are drawing.
Caddy Phil.
Yeah, Phil. I actually congratulated him on the head coaching job, and he said thank you. So I would assume that means he's the head coach.
Gotcha. So there's another coaching change.
Yeah. So and honestly, Phil, you know, and I'm not
a great coach, by the way.
Yeah, I think Greg Stensgaard's done a great job, but Phil's been very involved. Very involved with the guys in the off season, very involved with the guys in the preseason. And I mean, he seems to be engaged and in it 100%. So
he wants that championship too. He's a good coach. I think he's going to do some really good things up there.
Yeah. 3A, Juab I think has a good returning core. Delta, they have a lot returning. It looks like their upper weights are all seniors though, or a good chunk of them are seniors, I should say, not all. Any thoughts on 3A?
Juab's going to be some rock stars here in a couple years.
They have a good program out there, right?
They have a really good program. They're building. They're building. They're going to be good next year. I think in the next couple years they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll be tough. The 2A, Altamont, I think will be tough again. They were young last year, I think. Beaver, I think Beaver is going to have a good program in the next few years. They have a great youth program. They do a lot of travel, and I think they're doing the right things there. And I think they'll start creeping up as well in the 2A. And then 1A, Monticello, I think will win state for the next 20 years in 1A. I could be wrong, but I don't see anybody touching them. Duchesne, they're 2A, right?
Wayne's had some good teams here and there.
They have.
But
I can't remember I think Duchesne went 2A.
Yeah. So I mean, Monticello, they just have the tradition. I think no one's going to touch them for a while. I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah.
So.
Don't disagree.
Anyways, any last thoughts on the upcoming high school season? We've been on for a while now, so probably ought to close up. So.
You know, I'm gonna make a pitch to the Utah High School Activities Association that 6 classifications is too much, but
I agree.
It's just I mean
3 classes.
I think 3 in Utah is the perfect number. I really do. I know there are the purists out there that want 1. I can tell you 1's never going to happen in Utah. But I think 3 is a good number, and I think a school like Monticello, you throw them in with a school like Millard, and they can compete. I
agree. I think 6 classifications is ridiculous. The state tournament has become one of the easiest tournaments in the state. Like it just
for sure, hands down.
So just isn't what it was.
Yeah, when you're Layton and Rumble and all of those are 3 times harder than the state tournament, then your state tournament's not very tough.
It's true. I really wish we could have done a super state. I really wish that would have taken off, especially now with 6 classifications. But I completely understand the reasons why kids want to be done at that point. And the state title, even with
that all-star duel was awesome though.
That was fun. The duel, what was it? The Ginger Giants versus the Hardy Boys. That was a fun match. I mean that was really fun. We'll try and do that again this year. And in case people didn't know, the state tournament has been moved back a week. So divisional tournaments are on February 1st and 2nd. Youth Super State is February 8th and 9th. And high school state will be the 15th or that next weekend. The only negative of that schedule is I do believe the 1A and 2A state tournament is still staying on the 8th and 9th in Richfield.
Yes.
which is kind of a bummer. So, the U Super State, we had to move off of February 1st and 2nd because of divisionals. We've had difficult times getting officials in the past, and with every single divisional in the state the same weekend, we wouldn't have any officials, period. And so we didn't really have much of a choice. But I hate the fact that U Super State is the same weekend as 1A and 2A high school state, but there really wasn't much we could do with that.
Change of note too. I mean, I don't know how many people have got word about this, but the Rumble next year will not be at the UCC. It's not by choice. They scheduled a basketball game on Thursday and a basketball game on Saturday. So there wasn't any way we could fit it in. But we'll be up at the Wasatch County Event Center. If you're planning to stay overnight, get your hotel rooms now.
That's a good point. And while we're on that topic of change, it's called the Salt Lake Youth Tournament. Salt Lake Slam has changed along with the Christmas Clash duels. Youth Christmas Clash duels are now on January 4th. We're changing the format. Junior high will do 5 duels in one day, and then the elementary will do 4 duels in one day, and then the Salt Lake Slam beginner division will start Friday night, and then the normal division will be a one-day tournament on Saturday only, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And then you got high school all-star match, just in case you guys are calendaring right now, high school all-star match January 8th on that Tuesday, second Tuesday of January. So,
do you have any problems with UCCU, Jeff?
I have not.
Okay.
So,
good.
They said they have it scheduled and all is well.
Good.
So,
and just an FYI, we plan to be back at the UCCU Center. It was a scheduling conflict, and you play, you're second in line to the college. So when the college schedules games, you'll find other alternatives.
Yeah.
Nate, have you seen that bubble down by the Larry H. Miller theaters down there?
No, I haven't been down that way.
It looks like Wisconsin to me. I got to go check it out.
Which bubble? Down by UVU?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big building.
We got to go check that out, Jeff.
Yes, I've driven past it. Haven't been inside. Seen inside of it. It looks pretty nice.
I've talked with the Utah Valley Visitors Bureau. Said that it's owned by UVU.
That's good.
So yeah.
Okay.
It is good.
All right. Well, we're gonna sign off. We're gonna try and get back on course doing these podcasts every couple of weeks. We'll get the word out and keep everybody updated on what's going on. So thanks for listening.